Let me tell you about ProHealthConnect.com. It's transforming healthcare payments, providing retailers a seamless process for over-the-counter and healthy benefit programs. By connecting retailers, health plans, and payment processors, ProHealth Connect creates one powerful, unified network. They empower independent grocers and pharmacies to accept health benefit cards without changing how they do business. With over 10,000 locations nationwide, helping more than 1.3 million people access the care and nutrition they need. Go to ProHealthConnect.com.
Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Stand by your man. Give him 2 arms to cling.
And welcome to Katz and Cosby. We're playing Stand By Your Man because the Democrats are still standing by Graham Plattner, that man with all the allegations against him, John. It's amazing. I mean, the whole Nazi tattoo. Now there's women coming out of the woodwork saying he was abusive verbally and physically. And they're still, John, standing by their man. So much for morality, right?
I mean, well, how about that murderer that shot that guy, that insurance guy in the back? In the back, he shot him.
Luigi Mangione, right?
Yes. Mangione.
And there are people.
And those women are standing by him.
What is wrong with my kind, my gender? You guys get some sanity.
Maybe it's
Come on, wake up, women.
Maybe it's the 6th gender.
Oh, yeah, that's right, like Tallarico. That's right. Tallarico said there's 6, so it's not my kind. It's not John's or yours. It's one of the other 4.
Look, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed at Hakeem Jeffries because I like the guy. I've spent time with him. I like him. But how can he say stupid things like that?
How could he? And tonight, John, it gets worse because Ro Khanna, who's a Democrat from California, not only is he saying, I'm standing by this man with all the scandals against him, he's doing a rally to raise funds for him tonight in Maine. This is Graham Plattner, and it's Ro Khanna, who is the Democratic representative. By the way, it's the same Ro Khanna, guys, who during the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, of course, the Supreme Court justice, said all women should be believed. This is terrible. He shouldn't be seated. And boy, he's trashed Trump. But yet, when it comes to Graham Plattner with a Nazi tattoo and multiple women, for some reason, he's standing by this man. So it's deplorable. What do you think, Ed Cox, when you hear this? To me, the bar is so low, and it saddens me that anybody would support this kind of an individual. In politics, I think you should be a role model. I'm sorry, I'm from the old school.
You know, the Democrat leaders are being hypocritical. They are going to the far left. They are trapped in the far left. And frankly, in the end, that augurs well for the Republicans.
Yeah, it does order well because they still, and also they still could also do a Kamala Harris switcheroo, because even if this guy wins the primary, it's on Tuesday in Maine, they could also have him resign.
But you know what I'm waiting for?
And switch it.
You know what I'm waiting for?
But he has to resign.
I understand. Yes. We have Blagojevich on.
Yes.
And in California, they said they're still counting mail-in ballots. So they called up and they said, we're short ballots.
Come on in.
So they phoned Chicago and Philadelphia.
Right. So, and now, if you look at the gap is narrowing.
Also, there was a suspicious fire that's now under investigation.
What a surprise.
In L.A.
Yeah, what a surprise. Right. Was it right near Spencer Pratt's home?
Yeah, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ballots on fire.
Oh, wow, what a surprise. And they were all marked Spencer Pratt?
Yeah, it must be a coincidence.
Yeah, it must be. And by the way, John, before we move on, also the UAW. Can you believe this? We were just talking about the United Auto Workers just endorsed, of all people, Abdul El Sayed in Michigan.
Selling out America. He's anti-ICE. He's anti-immigration enforcement. He's a Islamist, and he's a socialist. What a great candidate for the United States Senate.
Yeah, isn't that shocking, John, that of all people, and you got Mike Rogers in that race.
One of the really great members of Congress. Great chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, a guy who should be in the Senate to protect this country.
Army guy, FBI guy, and no Nazi tattoos. So I'll take him.
Imagine that.
I'll take him. Imagine that. Well, you guys, before we move on, John, everybody's talking about the big broadcast conference today, Talkers, and you were the featured speaker and interviewed by Michael Harrison of Talkers, and the word is it was a home run.
Well, I mean, I understand. I just got a text from Renee. all the WABC speakers.
Yeah, Lee
had a home
Harris,
run.
right? Walter
Lee Harris
Sabo.
spoke, and Walter
Sid.
Sabo. Sid Rosenberg spoke,
Awesome.
and everybody spoke, and we hit it out of the park.
Awesome. A home run. Home run. Better than the Knicks? Were you guys better than the Knicks?
I called Sid Rosenberg to give him the breaking news because I got some breaking news from Washington, from the powers that be, that Scalise is going to put in the new bill on AM radio without a sunset clause.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. I was wondering if there was some good AM radio news. I think we need a little applause for that because that's not just for AM radio, it's for the American public.
Well, it's good for the American people. It's good for security. It's good for federal law, FEMA, because AM radio stays on the air regardless of what happens.
Yeah, in a crisis, it's the only place in many places to turn. So that, and bravo to you for the fight.
Before you were born,
you and Chad.
Before you were born, when we had all the blackouts, and nobody had radios, we went downstairs to the car and turned on the AM radio.
What year was that? 1812? 1812?
Yeah, at least you had a battery in the car. That's right. It worked.
That's right. That's right.
That was in
born around
1965.
I was born around that time. I might have been in diapers
what the heck
at that
is going
time.
on in California?
And we may have blackouts again, given the power situation and how it's been destabilized by
Good point.
alternative energy.
Good point. Good point.
Kevin McCarthy's coming on?
Kevin McCarthy is
He
with us.
knows what's going on in California. That's his home territory.
Let's go to the great former Speaker of the House, the Speaker. We love him. Kevin, fill us in on what you think is going on with California. We were just talking, you probably heard the judge talk about these votes that suddenly were burning up the ballots. And now they have, I was hearing over several million they still have to count. How can anybody have faith in the process?
They don't. And this is continuing to lose faith. In my years of growing up in California, this is the worst I've ever seen it. Normally, states improve on how they count. Think about it. Florida counts it all in a couple hours. We take weeks. They can't even tell you right now how many more ballots do they have to count. They can't tell you how many are in L.A. City, how many in the county. And how do you trust anything like that? I mean, it's a detriment. And tell me, have you ever found in any election, whatever the number is that night, and when they count later, has the Republican number ever gone up? The percentage?
No, they find out how many votes they're short, and they call up Tucson, they call up Philadelphia, they call up
Chicago. Don't forget Chicago.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it is devastating because it hurts. It hurts people to run because they think it's not right. The trust in when people governing, and it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. We just had an election, and you can't tell me who won. It was on Tuesday, and they're telling me it's going to be another 3 weeks. Are they still taking ballots in today with the election over?
That's the question. This time frame is just, it instills no confidence, Kevin. And I don't know why it's so complicated. You look at other states. Florida, it's pretty quick. There's a lot of other states. Obviously, it's the biggest state. But right now, when you see how far ahead, like Steve Hilton was, and Spencer Pratt seemed to be sitting pretty in number 2. And then I saw Tom Steyer a little bit ago. He's creeping up. He's creeping up in that position there in the governor's race. What a contrast for the future of California. I mean, that's the thing I think of, Kevin. You and I both love California. So much, and I think about what a difference the state could go. We're talking about between a Steve Hilton or a Tom Steyer.
Yeah, I will tell you. Think about what will happen if we're sitting here. People saw the election. People saw the numbers back, that Hilton was in first, that Pratt was in second. These people were way behind. 2 weeks later, somehow they drop off and can't run in the general election. Who's going to believe in that?
Yeah, that's the problem, Ed Cox.
So here in New York, Mr. Speaker, we have counting the ballots in a short period of time. You've got a Republican and a Democrat watching the process. What's the process in California over a much longer period of time? How does it ensure that the count is fair?
Well, you can go in, the campaigns can bring people in, but you got to go by county. Remember what the Democrats did. They changed the election law, and they just mail everybody a ballot in California. Now, California is very liberal. If you wanted an absentee ballot, you could sign up for it. You can get it every time. The problem with mailing everybody a ballot and people who haven't even asked for it, they don't clean up the rolls. I mean, there was a lawsuit a number of years ago in L.A. There were more people on the rolls than the number of people eligible of 18 and over to even be there. And you know, people move a lot. So people have these horror stories where they get 3 different families' ballots sent to their house. Now, how do you check when someone can just fill those in and go back? Then they changed in the past. If you applied for absentee ballot, you can mail it back and sign the back. Somebody in your family could pick it up, take it in. They've taken that all away, so anybody can harvest ballots. And we've watched the problems with people going into elderly care places and others, or just picking people's ballots up and sending them back in and harvesting. There's people who've been prosecuted for that. You want to trust your elections. I like the idea of people going and voting. Make it absentee too if they want, but just mailing everybody a ballot, we know the type of problems people have had with their mail being stolen, not cleaning up the rolls. That's the number one thing that should happen. And then when these ballots come in, how many more days do they get to come in? And then they say they got to check each signature. So who has a judge? Now, if something's wrong, this is why it even takes longer. You have 10 days to cure it. So some people can check it. Yes. So you can go. So these campaigns then go and try to go fix it because they've done something wrong.
Kevin, what could go wrong there? You know, I mean,
exactly.
Well, it reminds me of Senator Norm Coleman, where he found out 9 months later he lost by 300 votes after he won for 9 months.
Well, Coleman actually won that race. It's so wrong. But in all that has gone on, you would want to think it's just another side of why these Republicans even have a chance in California, that people are so frustrated of how these Democrats have managed the city of L.A., the state of California. And now they're managing our elections worse. We never had to wait this long in California. You know, when you were there, you didn't wait this. You knew that day or the day after, not 3 weeks later.
Yeah, it is. It's like a whole other world, and it just makes you feel no confidence in the system. Judge Weinberg.
Mr. Speaker, good to talk to you again, sir. What's your thoughts about the House Representatives voting on the War Powers Resolution?
Well, look, I think that's a wrong act to take now, because that's another one of where they're just trying to play the discharge petition and others. There is no battle going on right now. There aren't men and women in war, but I mean, you cannot allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. And when the Congress does that vote, listens to that, it's not going to go into effect, but it empowers the Iranian terrorist organization to feel they're in a stronger place to not do anything. Instead of rising up for freedom, let the president be able to have the power right now instead of trying to rein it against and play sides.
You know, before we let you go, Kevin, your thoughts on what's going to happen with Graham Plattner. I mean, it is shocking that this guy, we were talking at the beginning, the Democrats are standing by their man. And Mr. Speaker, it's just shocking that he is still in the race. And that's the best that the Democratic Party could do.
It is truly bad. But think of this. The sitting governor of Maine, Democrat, was running, and he was beating her. She dropped out. This is the new Democratic Party. They don't represent the Democratic Party. And you know what? There's no accountability there. They now know about the swastika. They now know about from numerous women. I mean, how long did Nancy Pelosi protect Eric Swalwell with what she knew? It wasn't until the public got so angry that they made Swalwell step out of the governor's race, but then they made him resign from Congress. I think if the Democrats go forward with this candidate, the same thing's going to happen. They're going to have this guy drop out.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. Right now, he says, I'm not going anywhere. In fact, they're doing a rally tonight for him, which is just, it's shocking. Kevin McCarthy, we love you. Thank you. Keep us posted, please.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now, let's go to Larry Kudlow and the economy. Well, let's see how it's doing. Larry Kudlow, today was a little bit of setback.
Really?
A little bit.
We're booming. What are you talking about?
Okay. I watched the wrong TV set.
Holy cow. This is a huge jobs number, John.
Yes.
170,000 was twice what anybody expected. Last 2 months were revised up almost 100,000, and we're running the 3-month average is running close to 200,000 jobs, and wages are rising 4.5%. What TV show were you watching?
I must have been watching the wrong TV show.
My goodness, I don't know what to say. The shocking disclosure.
So tell us, what the heck is going on?
The economy is booming. I'm just going to tell you, the economy is booming.
Yeah.
And, businesses are booming and profits are booming. I mean, today was the stock market was correcting a bit today, but you've had a phenomenal stock market up 25, 26% over the past year. Profits, which are the mother's milk of stocks and the lifeblood of the economy, profits are booming. So if you have a healthy business that is making money, it's going to hire and pay wage increases. And that's what's happening. And Democrats hate jobs, right? That's not true. Democrats like jobs. They just don't like the businesses that create jobs. That's the problem. And so they want to tax them to death. And so Donald Trump, in the one big beautiful bill a year ago signed in July 4th, and then the one we did in the first term, lowered taxes on large and small businesses, and we had economic booms. And we're having another economic boom. I mean, it's a fantastic story. We're hiring more people than anybody ever dreamed possible. The unemployment rate is 4.3%. I mean, it's fabulous.
With all the automobile plants that are going to be opening up, all the pharmaceutical plants being opened up, I mean, do we have enough labor for these people?
We have enough labor. You and I'll go out and work with our hands. We'll help out.
I don't know. Well, me and you already work 77 hours a week.
That is true, by the way. But, yes, there's probably eligible, able-bodied people who could be working and shouldn't be collecting various assistance programs. There's probably 10 or 12 million of them. But it is interesting to see how the construction jobs are picking up and the manufacturing jobs are picking up. And it's also interesting to see, as part of this economic boom, it's really a Trumpian boom. The Institute for Supply Managers, manufacturing went up big time, I think 4 or 5 months in a row. Services went up 4 or 5 months in a row. Construction jobs are up 4 or 5 months in a row. I mean, this is a wartime economy, and I know gasoline prices are too high, and nobody likes to pay that, including me. But the reality is the economy is so strong and resilient that it's just booming ahead. It's fantastic stuff.
I just got a text from the mayor.
Yes, and it's. Do you want me to say what it's about? The topic or no?
He's going to speak before the Police Athletic League and help the kids of the inner city.
Yeah, which helps, by the way, tens of thousands of kids in the inner city. Yeah. So that's a great mission. It's a great mission.
Somebody should tell the mayor that if he wants to create jobs here, he should stop taxing businesses and stop expropriating businesses.
Well, I'm trying to tell him, Larry. You know that.
Housing.
Larry, I talked to him one-on-one. I said, and I always say to him, you're on the edge of disaster or the edge of success. I'd rather have him be at the edge of success because we love New York.
Socialists do not understand the importance of business or profits. I mean, they don't. So socialists believe government.
Well, tell Larry what happened with the UAW in Michigan.
Oh, my goodness. Did you hear this, Larry, that United Auto Workers has endorsed Abdul El Sayed? That's the guy who is defund the police, anti-ICE. He's the one who's running against a great candidate, Mike Rogers, who is so supportive of America and of all law enforcement. And the UAW just came out. What do you make of that, Larry?
Well, the UAW leadership is very far left, not the rank and file.
Right. That's right. We
vote
saw
for
that,
Trump.
right? Remember during the campaign, we saw that a bit with Trump, too. That's right, with the president.
I'm going to guess 45% of the rank and file voted for Trump. The leadership is a bunch of socialists, and that's been true for 40 years. Nothing new. But if they nominated or support this, I assume he's a lefty. I think that's terrific.
Oh, he's like far left.
He wants to abolish ICE. He's an Islamist. He wants to abolish ICE. He thinks America is a failed country.
Yeah, no, I think that's terrific. I think they should all endorse all these guys, and they'll all lose. But the point is here, look, in order to have a healthy economy that creates jobs and pays families higher incomes, you've got to have healthy business. That's a free enterprise economy, and it seems like an obvious point, but the Democratic Party has lost that point. I mean, look, Jack Kemp, the late Jack Kemp, who was a friend and mentor of mine going back 50 years. Jack Kemp used to always say that Democrats like jobs. They just hate the businesses that create the jobs. And if you tax the business and you regulate and you strangle it, you're not going to get a job. What you'll get is a failed, bankrupt business and layoffs. And if the Democrats have to go back to socialism to learn that, fine. They'll get clobbered in November. I want them all to endorse these lefties. Go for it. The further out they are, hell, we might even win something in California. That's how pathetic they are.
Well, Larry, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it.
Tell us, you're on tomorrow from 10 to 1. What are you going to talk about?
Rita, tell John to watch the right TV stations.
I will. I'll sit in front of him and say only this station and only Fox Business when Larry's on. That's all I'm going to tell him.
I refuse to watch CNBC.
No, I spent 20 years there. No comment.
Okay.
That's the right answer, Larry.
I'll be listening to you on WABC. The 178 countries, 50 states, on WABCRadio.com, on 77 WABC on your Amazon, and on LarryKudlow.com on your computer.
So long, kids.
Thank you.
Bye, Larry. Bye, Larry. And, John, we're going to take a break, and we have Laura Trump right after that.
A common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Cats and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And we are back here on Cats and Cosby. And who better than our next guest, Laura Trump. She, of course, hosts My View with Laura Trump on Saturdays, 9 o'clock on Fox News Channel. It is an awesome show. We all watch it every Saturday. And Laura, before we get to your guest, I just want to ask your thoughts about all this stuff with Graham Plattner. You and I haven't really had a chance. We haven't had a chance too much to ask you. He's got a rally tonight, and Ro Khanna is still standing by this guy. It's shocking.
Well, it's all shocking, but maybe it shouldn't shock us, Rita, because at this point, I think it's pretty clear the Democrats are willing to endorse, support, and push on the American people any candidate, and the only requirement is that they are a Trump hater. And they really don't care about their past. They don't care about their anti-Semitism. They don't care about a Nazi tattoo. They don't care about all of the very questionable things in his past. All they care about with this guy is that he's anti-Trump, and that's good enough for them. And that should tell you all you need to know about this party. He's not the only one, though. There's such a slate of far-left radicals that the Democrats have pushed forward for this upcoming midterm election. You got a guy in New Jersey who's supporting a terrorist and openly did it in the past. You have people like Graham Plattner. You have so many individuals that they're running. James Talrico, a vegan, quote unquote, meat eater down in Texas who thinks that God is non-binary. The whole thing is crazy. But the base of it is that they have to hate Trump. And basically, that's good enough for the Democrats. The good news is Republicans have people who actually want to see this country move in the right direction. They want to support the president's agenda. And so we have to be strong as we head into these midterms because we cannot allow people like this to actually take a seat in the United States Senate or literally anywhere in our country.
We're supporting the free world. We want to keep the free world free, and every American should realize that. Because what happened under Joe Biden, if Harris would have gotten in, we would have never made the 300th year of our country.
I totally agree with that. And when you, John, consider all the things that they have promised to do, they want to pack the Supreme Court, they want to eliminate the filibuster, they want to grant D.C. and Puerto Rico statehood so that they in perpetuity can retain power. We already know their move with illegal immigration is to ensure that they have a voting base that will vote for them forever. They're willing to game the system, and they're willing to do anything to retain power. And it's a really scary, position to.
Oops, we're losing you, Laura.
So we got.
Oops, we're losing Laura a little bit there. Let's see what.
Let her read down.
Yep, yeah. Laura, give us a buzz right back. But one of the things, John, you had a great point. Can you imagine if Kamala Harris had won? It would have been like a free-for-all on the border. Can you? I mean,
I can't believe it. We've been invaded already.
Can you imagine if it was doubled?
That tweet I sent you, the amount of immigrants, migrants, forget about immigrants, migrants, the difference between migrants and immigrants have come into the United States was, they had a number like 52 million?
That's what I was saying. And America was the biggest number on that chart. I remember that, John. Overwhelmingly the biggest number.
Because we were stupid for 4 years.
Right. And not only were we stupid, John, we were a magnet. I mean, you think about it. I understand we have Laura back. Laura, we're just talking about what John was saying about if the border had stayed wide open under Kamala Harris. Imagine what our country would look like.
Well, the good news is we didn't have to see that day happen. First of all, don't forget, she was our.
Oops, we're losing you again, Laura. We're losing you a little bit again. Give us a buzz back. We'll continue part 2, Ed.
Yeah, I remember the Democrats were saying in the 24 election that we needed all this legislation in order to close the border. And Trump closed it in just a couple of weeks of time. That was it.
Yeah,
they always had the power.
And by the way, Ed, literally one day. Remember, he did it like day one.
Yeah.
He signed the executive, which is why I fear, guys. Imagine if it flips again. Yeah. I mean, that's the big thing. Think about what happens if it flips again. And
if it flips again, the country's doomed.
Yeah, the country is doomed because a different president could come in, a Joe Biden president signs it back.
Another Obama, another Biden, another bleeding heart that allows an invasion of our country by people who should not be here.
Yeah, it's crazy. Laura, I understand we got you back. Thank you so much.
Yep. We're trying it again.
Thank you, Laura.
We're going to try it again, guys.
Third time's the charm.
Talking about the border, we actually have real borders at this time, not the joke that we had before in Kamala Harris. Tom Homan, he's actually on my show this weekend, and he's done an incredible job for this country. But you're right. The things that would have happened to America if we continued down the path that we were on, the millions of people who came in here illegally, we don't even know who some of those people were. Think about the people we've actually caught who were on that terror watch list. Think about the children and the women who were trafficked over our southern border who are still out there. By the way, remember the number of 300,000 children that the Biden administration lost? Guess what? Nearly half of those kids have been found by the Trump administration. So thank you, President Trump, and thank you, Department of Homeland Security. The fentanyl, the drugs, all of it was wreaking havoc on our country. So we are so fortunate that we have a president who's actually doing the right thing for America, keeping Americans safe. We have the most secure border in the history of America. They've actually broken the record that we set in the first term, and we love to see it.
How is the drugs coming in from Mexico? Has it curtailed a little bit at least?
I think that we've seen an incredible drop in the drugs from Mexico. We've seen the drugs coming in through our ports. Obviously we're taking out those boats that are coming in. You've seen an incredible drop, and a number of fentanyl deaths have also plummeted. So that has been such a relief, I know, to so many Americans who just were devastated. I mean, I don't think anyone out there can honestly say that they don't know someone whose lives have been negatively impacted by fentanyl. And so we're trying to stop that. We have a president working on it every single day. And the men and women of Border Patrol and ICE who do a thankless job, who are out there on the front line of this, we're incredibly grateful for that as well.
Well, Laura, we're definitely going to be tuning in on Saturday. Tom Homan, and perfect timing to be getting him. There's so much going on there with Newark and everything else. We can't wait. We'll be tuning in. And Laura, thank you so much for joining us. We love you. Thank you.
You got it, guys.
Thank you. And I'll be watching tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. And if I miss it at 9 o'clock, I'm going to see it at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Giving you, John.
All right.
Thanks, Laura.
And now for the hot news, the top news of the day, sponsored by Goya Foods.
All right, here are the headlines.
It's the top news of the day. Here's Rita Cosby.
Well, some of the big stories, guys. This is interesting. First off, U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley is confirming that multiple election fraud investigations are underway right now in California. Asaley says his office is working with the FBI on several of the cases, but he didn't provide any other details. President Trump is claiming that Democrats, quote, are trying to steal California's primary elections, and he announced that federal prosecutors were looking into that possibility. And also, let's go to space. I know the governor is hot on this one. Russia's space agency is pausing repairs on the International Space Station as it reviews procedures to fix cracks and leaks. A NASA spokesperson says that the structural repair efforts are being put on hold while engineers gather more measurements and other data. How's that, Gov? What do you think?
I think it's a step in the right direction.
All right, good. A step for mankind.
One small step in a big space.
Good line. I love that. Good line. I think I've heard that before.
I heard it someplace.
Yeah, I think so, right? Wasn't it 60s?
No, what happened?
60s.
By the way,
It's original.
We don't have, maybe Dr. Sky will talk about it tonight. He's on at midnight to 2 a.m. And I understand one of the space stations that it's leaking.
Yeah, this is it. The crack. This is it. The cracks. Right. Exactly. Tied to the Russian-made Zvezda service module. And apparently it was launched back in space in 2000, and it's had growing problems. But obviously in space, it's a little different than your car.
If it gets hit by enough meteorites, I guess you could develop holes.
Well, I think we got to find out from Dr. Space. What do you think,
It's
Dr.
a whole
Sky?
new spaceship.
It's a whole new world out there. What do you think of?
But don't we have a free zone in outer space where we agree not to, attack each other's spaceships?
Is that like the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, more after the break with Rod Blagojevich, you guys.
You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
Well, let's go to Illinois and find out what's happening. And we have former Governor Rod Blagojevich. I said it right. And, well, Rod, what the heck? You're in Illinois, but you got a smell of things, what's going on in California. Tell us about it.
Well, Blagojevich rhymes with Catsimatidis, and in California, I believe they're stealing votes. And, Democrats from Chicago, we can recognize that sort of thing. If Obama
You guys are experts on that, right?
well, it's a time-honored tradition here, so much so that you can actually get votes making jokes about the graveyard vote here. But if Obama was put on the lie detector test, he would agree with me. Mail-in ballots, no voter ID, those sorts of things are ripe for mischief and are the sorts of things that are happening in places like California where, you go to bed at night and the Republican candidate's doing pretty good. You wake up the next morning when they start counting those mail-in ballots, and all of a sudden the Republican candidate has dropped several points and is no longer in first or second place. He's in second or third place. And, I feel bad for Spencer Pratt, who I knew a little bit from reality TV, believe it or not. Really kind of a nice guy, a tough guy, an opinionated guy, and a forceful guy. I think he'd make a great mayor, but I'm worried when they get done counting those mail-in ballots, he'll finish third and won't even make the runoff.
Tell us about, you just brought up, Governor, about Spencer Pratt. Tell us a little bit, were you surprised that he ran for mayor? And because he's an unconventional candidate, it's amazing how well he's done, how much he's resonated with the voters there.
Well, I think it's proof of just how poorly run Los Angeles is. Not to say that Spencer Pratt's not competent, because he clearly is. He's a self-made guy. He's made himself a success in entertainment, and now, has run a very competitive race for mayor of the second largest city in our country. But I think the Spencer Pratt phenomenon has something to do with Spencer, but a lot more to do with the terrible governing by, Mayor Bass and the Democratic leaders in Los Angeles and the wildfires and the inability to put the fires out. It's all you need to know. It was a city that was on fire and they couldn't stop the fires. So I think the phenomenon of Spencer Pratt has more to do with the Democrats' incompetence and their inability to govern properly.
By the way, I want to ask you a little bit about Graham Plattner, too, while we have you, Rod. Here's a little bit of interesting news.
Breaking news, WABC.
This is lots of headlines are coming out about, everybody kind of remaining mum on this is the main candidate with the Nazi tattoo and the allegations against women now, which is just so horrible. And Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who sort of led the Me Too charges, remember, against everybody, including Al Franken at that time. She hasn't said a word. She's like dodging the media. So there's a big story about her sort of staying mum and the sort of double standards. What do you think when you see the Democratic Party that, they have somebody like Graham Plattner so desperate that he's still in the race and they're even going to a rally supporting him tonight?
Well, I mean, it's breathtaking hypocrisy. If a Republican did half of the stuff that Plattner was accused of, they'd be asking not just for an impeachment, they'd want to throw the guy in jail. They're the party that says, and it's understandable, you should believe the women. And yet when they're when Democrats find themselves caught up in situations like that, Democratic men, for example, they're quick to defend them and try to avoid acknowledging, the trouble and the problem. They're caught now with really a terrible candidate. And what's amazing to me isn't so much the sexual or the abusive allegations against this candidate, and the Democrats don't seem to be condemning that. Well, what is amazing that they've gone so far crazy that even a Nazi tattoo on the guy's chest isn't enough to have them urge this guy to get off the ballot or support his opponent. The fact that they're supporting him, in spite of all of those things, just tells you just how weird the Democratic Party has become.
Yeah, absolutely. We have the other governor here, Governor Patterson.
Well, Governor,
love him.
I've always, looked up to you. You've really were an unconventional governor, but you came up with ideas that other people didn't have. And I'm wondering if you could come up with one for me, because like a lot of other Democrats, we are just caught. There's nothing we can do. The far left commands the media and the attention, and the Republicans will win these particular elections. And it's going to put us in a hole deeper than maybe we've ever been in before.
Mayor, Governor, hello again. And thank you for all the kind words you've said about me. I'm grateful to you. For a long time, nobody was saying anything nice about me. But sometimes, and I know this from my own life experience, sometimes you got to hit rock bottom before you can come back up. And maybe that's what the Democrats have to go through. Maybe this crazy lunatic Bolshevik fringe of the Democratic Party that's become the mainstream has to bring the party to near ruin before the sensible people take over and start to reform the party and make it what it's supposed to be, a party for everyday, ordinary working people, a party that believes in America, a party that believes in the middle class, that wants to help people become part of the middle class, a party that recognizes opportunity, a chance to get ahead, a party that respects and reveres and honors the police, believes in God. Those sorts of things that were traditional values of the Democratic Party are out of style now. And maybe it's going to take something as extreme as, getting wiped out politically for the Democrats to reform themselves, because, necessity is the mother of invention. Maybe that's what it'll take. But I have to say that, Donald Trump has changed the Republican Party. And so a lot of what's happening today is a historic political realignment. When Bill Clinton ran for president as a sort of centrist governor from Arkansas, and he sort of reformed the Democrat Party that was going too far left, that was a different era, because the Republican Party back then was strictly corporate country club, having no interest in working people. The problem the Democrats will have when they try to do that, if they try to do that, is that Trump has made this Republican Party more sympathetic to working people. Things like, no taxes on tips for waitresses and waiters, basic things that help working people, money back, tax money back, rebates to working people, shoring up the middle class. So it won't be as easy for the Democrats to reform themselves now like they were able to do back in the 1990s when Katzimatidis' friend Bill Clinton changed the Democratic Party.
By the way, I had dinner with him last night.
No kidding. Wow.
Well, Governor, all I can say is that if even half of everything you said were to come true, it would really change a lot in this country, and we need it badly. So thank you.
No, you're welcome. let me just say something. There's nothing intellectual about me. I was a gentleman C scholar in law school. I passed the bar exam the second time around. I wasn't exactly setting the world on fire in the Chicago public schools, which aren't so good. But I think I have some element of common sense, and that's really what the Democrats need to get back to, basic common sense. And why don't you just ask yourself a question? What's good for the common good and the general welfare and for improving the lives of everyday people? If you can figure that out, which shouldn't be that hard, then maybe the Democrats can right the ship and get on the right course.
Governor, what would you call a lawyer with an IQ of 80?
Oh, is this a joke? Go ahead, Gov. Go ahead, Gov Patterson.
Me? Your Honor.
Oh, shit.
We have to live with this every Thursday and Friday, Governor Blagojevich.
Well, I want to file a dissenting opinion.
I knew the judge would have a problem with that, but it was a good one, Governor Patterson. Governor Blagojevich, thank you. We love you. Thank you
very
so much. Thank you.
And now let's go to New York City. Let's go to the Hispanic. Let's go to the Puerto Rican people of New York. And they were mad as hell because they weren't getting respect.
They weren't getting an event with the mayor. He wasn't going to be part of the parade. Now he's backpedaling, and he is doing a heritage event, and he's going to march in the parade. So who better than Joe Ithier to talk about it? Joe, what's your reaction? Because I just want to remind everybody the timing when it first came out that he wasn't going to be a part of this happened right around the same time when he said he wasn't going to march in the Israel Day parade, which he didn't do. But I'm happy that at least he's honoring the Puerto Ricans. He should have honored the Israelis too, but go ahead.
I'm totally with you, Rita. Hey, there hasn't been a mayor or a governor or someone like John Catsimatidis who ran for office that's been a part of the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Everyone has marched in the parade. The Puerto Rican community has been out there. They're available to anybody. Hey, we did Amigos de Pataki, and they went out and voted for Republican, and our chairman knows that. The chairman and I talked about it throughout the years of the Puerto Rican community, how important they've been to this whole city of New York. So
when I ran for mayor, Joe,
someone screwed up, John. Someone screwed up, but the mayor must have heard all the right people and said, hey, we've been doing this for years at Gracie Mansion as part of the Puerto Rican Day Parade, all the events that are happening all over the city in regards to it. That community comes out and votes.
Well, when I was running for mayor in 2013, I marched, or we were on a float together with the governor of Puerto Rico. Do you remember his name?
Yeah, that was he had just finished as governor of Puerto Rico, Fortuno, and he told us, oh, they're going to throw eggs at me.
Oh, he was afraid. He was afraid of marching. And people...
He was scared to march.
Yes.
And not only
and
did
they applauded
the crowd
him.
go crazy for the governor who had just finished his term, but to John Catsimatidis, who the community called El Bodeguero, the grocery store man. They cheered, and it didn't care if they were Republican, Democrats, and common sense in New York with the Puerto Rican community. If you do right for all our communities, the people care. So someone screwed up in telling the Puerto Rican parade people we're not going to have this annual event. And thank God the mayor heard the right people and has now said, yeah, we're going to do the Gracie Mansion. Hey, but if you're the mayor...
By the way, I just got a text. Me and Rita, we just got a text from the mayor, and he's going to do the Police Athletic League lunch.
And it's the right thing.
Yes,
absolutely.
It helps. It helps 20,000
official. You should be a part
kids
of every parade.
Yes.
Period.
And the Police Athletic League helps 20,000, 25,000 inner city kids, Puerto Rican, blacks, everybody.
It's great. It's great.
And it's been a great community organization throughout the years. I know we had a group back in the days that we supported the PAL to make the new PAL up in Webster Avenue in the Bronx. We had one on Longwood that I was chair of Save the PAL. They have been doing a fabulous job, and John, we're so happy that you're chairing and you do the fundraiser every month. This is important to the youth of New York, the future voters that will be out there, Puerto Rican or not. We're all New Yorkers.
Well, thank you so much, Joe Ithia, for coming on this Friday, and let's catch up again real soon, and we'll have a good dinner like the old days.
Well, I love you all.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
And let's go. Today is a famous day in history.
Absolutely. And by the way, we have a little music.
This famous day in history, the men of the 7th Cavalry.
Oh, wow. Well, we have another song that you might recognize. It's not as good as your song, but it's pretty good.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up.
Well, John, it is the anniversary of D-Day tomorrow in a matter of hours. And it is the 82nd anniversary. And John, I'm sentimental because I think about how I called in to all of you guys 2 years ago. And then I also was there at the 75th. And I just want to say, to me, it was one of the greatest moments of my life to be with these guys now in 100. And they were teenagers and had the guts of steel to storm those beaches. And so to me, it's really sentimental. And I'm so glad we're honoring them. And who better, John, than our guest here and our dear friend, the great Jack Jacobs, Medal of Honor recipient.
Jack, we miss you. We don't see enough of you.
Well, I don't see enough of you, John and Rita. It's so good to be with you today.
Oh, Jack, what do you think about and explain how pivotal D-Day was? And, I think about these young guys who were so, in their hundreds, still so proud of what they did that day, the sacrifice. When you go to Normandy, I'm sure you have, Jack, you see that beach, you wonder how anybody survived.
Well, it puts a real chill up your spine. I'll tell you an interesting story. After I was decorated, which was a long time ago, one of the other Medal of Honor recipients was a guy named Walter Ehlers. Walt was in the 1st Infantry Division and was there on D-Day with his brother, and both of them were in the same unit, and they knew it was going to be really tough. They knew a lot of people weren't going to come back, and they made a pact between the two of them. They said that if one of them falls, the other one is going to keep going. And Walter's brother was killed on the beach. Walter kept going, and on D+2, he conducted actions which got him the Medal of Honor. But he was one of many people who, without whom we wouldn't be here today. The world changed dramatically because of that pivotal day. My first assignment was when I came in the Army in 1966, was in 2nd Battalion Airborne, 505th Infantry in the 82nd Airborne Division, which jumped into St. Mary Glees behind the lines on D-Day. My battalion commander had been an enlisted man in that unit and jumped into Normandy, survived, got a battlefield commission, and later as a company commander jumped into Nijmegen, the bridge too far, where we had more Americans killed. But if it weren't for these kids, and they were all kids, if it weren't for these kids, we wouldn't have won the war. And they knew it was going to be tough. We lost 5,000 killed on that day, and I think about them all the time because without them, we wouldn't be around.
Jack, my father was rescued by American troops, and they believe they came through D-Day and later freed my father, who escaped from the prisoner of war camp. So for me, I don't know how I could ever thank America or American troops enough, especially those brave men. I think, was it one of the ones who maybe I met who rescued my own father?
We forget about it all because it was so long ago. We decided that we were going to stay out of the war as long as possible. We were very isolationist and so on until we got attacked. And on the 8th of December, the day after the Japanese attack, we had hundreds of thousands of young people go to reception stations around the country to go defend the Republic. We lost almost 500,000 Americans killed during the war. And that was indeed the greatest generation. My father was studying electrical engineering at the University of Minnesota, was dragged summarily out of school about 8 weeks before graduation, thrown into the Army, and fought in New Guinea and the Philippines with the Army. Hated getting dragged out of school. Hated getting shot at. Nobody likes that very much. Got out of the Army the instant he could when the war was over. By the way, he was a sergeant. His troops called him the old man. He was 26. Everybody else was 18, 19 years old. But when he got to be my age, all he would talk about was how proud he was at having saved the world, and his generation had done exactly that. And if we forget the service and sacrifice of the kids who stormed the beaches in 1944, tomorrow, 1944, we're going to regret it.
Well, it's a day to remember. We should always remember and never forget. We never forget Pearl Harbor. We never forget 9/11. And we should, especially on Memorial Day and especially on Veterans Day and all the special holidays.
And every day, I think, should be a Veterans Day. I really do.
We all agree. And we have to remember that we've got kids out there right now, and most of them are kids. Well, everybody's a kid to me, but they're all young people out there who've decided that they're going to serve, and many of them have and will again sacrifice. And while we're enjoying ourselves, we got to keep in mind that we can enjoy ourselves because there are kids out there doing what they're doing now.
Yes, it's the only reason we can enjoy ourselves in New York or wherever we are. And thank you, Jack Jacobs, for everything you've done, and thank you for carrying the message to everybody out there.
And you too. You do so much work with the kids, the PAL, with bringing the message of service and sacrifice and freedom and community, which is the most important thing. Every time I listen to one or both of you, I'm always reminded of an observation by, I think it was Benjamin Franklin just before the Revolution, who said, "We either hang together or we will surely hang separately." And you bring the message of community to all of us in New York and all of us around the country.
Oh, thank you, Jack.
We love
Jacobs.
you, Jack.
We love you.
Give Sue a hug. Give your wonderful wife Sue a hug.
Yeah, we got to go dancing again real soon.
I know, the best dancers.
Thank you so much. And right now, let's take a break, and we're going to come back with Joe Concha. And boy, every Friday, Joe Concha, he gives us a little bit of
little oomph.
A little oomph. Let's go to that break.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And we are back, John.
We are back. And this is TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And this is my last segment on Friday.
It is. That's right.
It's only the beginning for you.
This
Rita.
is. I'm like a boxer. This is round one. I'm going in for the fight on round two later. I'm ready. And also, so is our next guest because he has a show from 9 to 10. Joe Concha. Boy, there is so much to talk about. I have a feeling you're going to be talking about this crazy Graham Plattner. And the accusers, fill us in, because some of these women who've come forward are now saying that the New York Times, imagine this, twisted their words a little.
Twisted? Oh, they buried words here, Rita, no question. Look, you got to go not 1, not 2, not 10, 22 paragraphs into that story to get to the allegations against Graham Plattner. It's almost like Ali versus Foreman, like rope-a-dope. Like, all right, I'm going to put you to sleep before you actually get to the meat, which should have been the lead, the first paragraph. And then there were plenty of other accusers that were not in that story. And then they even basically smeared the ex-girlfriend of Plattner that was in the story, saying, well, she was a Republican operative. In other words, she had motive, and maybe she's making this up, when she's like, look, I got texts I could show you these texts, and they didn't even put some of them in that story. So this was a classic catch and release by the paper of record, the New York Times, which I always love to remind people is not a fair arbiter because they have not endorsed a Republican presidential candidate since 1956, meaning Humphrey, McGovern, Carter twice, Mondale, Dukakis, Kerry, Gore, Hillary, and Biden and Kamala. That's who they thought should be running the country, and that's not a very good track record.
Yeah, that is not, one of the other things too, I was seeing that like they deleted, they made it sound like, well, she said, yeah, he abused her, he pushed her, grabbed her, but he didn't break her arm. Like, that's like,
That's an affirmative defense.
Yeah, you got ran over, but you know what? You didn't die. You're okay.
Yeah.
Stand up, buck up.
Yeah, you can't kind of get a girl pregnant, and you can't kind of only hurt a girl, right? This guy clearly doesn't need to be in the United States Senate. He needs a shrink, anger management, and again, it's not just that, right? Which are horrible, right? Also on a predatory site for children called Kick.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Joe, I'm glad you fired me up. I'm sorry. It's Fired Up Friday, all right? So here's the other thing. He said last night, this guy, Graham Plattner, he's on MS Now, John's favorite network. I'm just saying. How many people watch?
About 12.
12. Okay, right. So 12, right. So MS Now. So he's on, and to his credit, Chris Hayes, who kind of was softballing him, but he did ask him, how do you know the women on that app that you were on, that he still is on, by the way, to this day, in a towel? That's it. And how do you know that the women were not minors, that you were communicating with adults? He goes, oh, I know. And he goes, well, you know that, right? Oh, yeah, I know. I'm sorry, you're on in a towel, and who knows what he's wearing on the real messages that he's sexting, but he's sure they're not minors, and the site is pretty much minors. The site is known for minors. But what, he asked him for ID before he sexted them? Is there anybody out there stupid enough to believe that?
That's the thing. He goes, well, I know there are women. Oh, really? Okay. Because, as you said, it's impossible to prove. He's not a good liar, which is, again, this thing is imploding. I just saw a poll out today, right? And it showed that while Plattner was leading anywhere from 12 to 14 points just like a couple of weeks ago, the race is now tied. And it's not going to reverse itself or go in another direction because he has now been defined. He's defined at the very best as a very weird guy with a lot of big problems, and at the very worst, a Nazi who has said that black people don't tip, who has rooted for Hamas to kill Israeli soldiers, who supports communism, supports open borders, wants ICE defunded, and I could go down the list in terms of all the things he said about women where they need to be more adults when they get raped, when he says that women in the military should not be able to report getting raped. He has checked off every box of insulting everybody in every possible voting block. And if you think that in Maine, which has a majority female vote, that he's going to win there, even against a soft candidate like Susan Collins, it ain't happening. And Democrats right now, as we speak, are plotting for a way to get him out so they can get somebody in who can win that seat. Because if they don't win Maine, they're not taking back the Senate.
Yeah, I agree. The stakes could not be higher. And I'm glad the polls are tightening because this guy is a creep. A total creep. I've never met him. I don't want to meet him. All right? I don't want to meet him on a Kick or anywhere else. All right? Wearing a towel or no towel. I have no desire. No desire for the record, Joe. Thank you.
Rita.
How do I really feel, right?
I like that. A towel or no towel. I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
The towel, can fall off.
I think it must have accidentally
What do we all stand
fallen off.
for?
Truth, justice, and the American way.
God bless America. Way!
Hey!
Thanks for listening to Katz and Cosby with John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. You can hear Katz and Cosby weekdays at 5. It's the 5 o'clock show on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here? One summer moment can change a child's life. Through Toys for Tots Give and Go initiative, your support provides books, games, toys, and outdoor adventures that spark curiosity, creativity, and a love of nature. Whether it's fishing, learning a new sport, reading under a tree, or playing with friends, these moments build confidence and lifelong memories. For too many children, those moments never come. You can help change that this summer. Visit toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots, delivering hope beyond the holidays.